Hello and welcome. My name is Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind the Country Chic Cottage. I am reviewing the HTVRont phone case heat press today. So I am going to sublimate a phone case, but what makes this special? Why would I need this special press for phone cases? You're going to love the results on this one. So the phone case itself, the design will wrap all the way around the edges. So this makes it different than maybe some of the phone case blanks you've seen on the market. This press is a vacuum press, which allows the sublimation print to wrap around all of the edges and get an amazing result. So with this, you'll need the phone case heat press. You'll also need fixtures. So there will be a phone case fixture. There are some other fixtures and other things that you can put in here, not just phone cases, and we'll talk about that. And then you'll also print on a special film to use this heat press. So several steps, but it's actually way more simple than I thought it would be. So first let's dive in and take a look at what comes with this heat press. In the box you'll get the heat press itself, and then a couple of fixtures, one being the fixture for cell phone cases, and the other being a fixture for buttons. And you do get 3 blank buttons to try with the heat press. Pair of tweezers, heat resistant tape, as well as a set of heat resistant gloves. And then you also get a package of sublimation film. So we will be printing on this film in order to sublimate. Now I did want to say that depending on where you purchase the phone case heat press, you may need to buy some of the fixtures separately. However, you will need a fixture for each thing that you're going to make. So if you're going to make iPhone cases and Android cases, you would want 2 different fixtures to do those. The heat press itself will come fully assembled. All you need to do is to plug it in. You'll plug it in and use this button to turn it on. You can press the temperature button and then plus or minus to set the temperature. Press the time button and then plus or minus to set the time. The R button over here will be what you use to start your press. There is an upper heat plate temperature and a lower heat plate temperature. So if we press the temperature button once, it turns yellow. Yellow is the upper heat plate temp. Press it again and it will be red, and that's your lower heat plate temp. So those can be the same or different. Press it again to set those temperatures. And then the same for time. Press it once, it's yellow, and that's the preheat time. Press it again, it's red, and that's the heat transfer time. And then press it again to finish and set those times. So if you lift the lid, you'll see the inside of this press. Now there is a seal around here, and this is your bottom heat plate. The top is similar with a place for your seal to go, as well as your top heat plate. So when you go to use this, you'll put a fixture inside. So for this version, this is just a flat fixture. It can be used for flat items. There's a few diagrams on here for like coasters and things like that. You can flip it over for the button side, and there are some holes there where your button fixtures will just slide into place. And you can do 3 buttons at a time. Then if you want to do a phone case, which is what I'm going to do in this video, there are a couple holes in the bottom, and your phone case fixture just slides into those holes. Now, this is the iPhone fixture. There's also one for Android, and this is adjustable for different types of iPhones. I'm going to do the iPhone 16 as an example, and you actually add a couple of spacers here, and then we will sort of squeeze this together and add the phone case onto this piece. The spacers are going to be important so that you have an entire metal surface here once you put the phone case on. The fixtures themselves do come with a cheat sheet as far as what they're expecting you to use, so you can use that to sort of decide what to put in here. You do need to heat everything up, so whatever fixture you're going to use, put it in the heat press first. Close that lid. Then you're going to go ahead and set your time and your temperature. So turn it on, set the time and temperature. I'm going to set both my top and my bottom to 275 degrees Fahrenheit. And then the time I'm going to do for 350 seconds. Now that's the actual press time. The preheat time, 20 seconds is what I'm going to set it to, and 350 seconds as my press time. While that preheats, you do want to print onto the sublimation film. The film is sort of clear, milky white. You do want to print on the matte side. There's a glossy side and a matte side. We're gonna print on the matte side. If you have trouble feeding this through your printer, they did include some tabs that you can sort of stick onto the end to help your printer pull it through. If that does not help, you can tape a piece of plain copy paper to this on that gloss side, and that just helps your printer grip this, because this glossy side is very glossy and it's gonna be slick for those printer rollers. You can use the Lock-Click software to get templates that will be an exact size for this. So I'm just gonna use Canva, use a custom size 8.5 by 11 inch size paper, then upload my design, and then I'm just going to be sure that the design is oversized over 1 inch on both sides to make sure I have enough to wrap all the way around my phone case. If you want exact dimensions, I would recommend using their software. You can always print a full sheet as well of a sublimation design and use it with this heat press. Once you're ready to print from Canva, you will download as a PDF for print with CMYK. And then you're gonna head to your sublimation printer and print this, and you do want to print on that film that I just showed you. So as far as feeding the paper through, I did see several creators use an Epson printer, and I fed this paper through my Sawgrass using the paper feed test. So what I had to do was to tape a piece of regular copy paper. This is the film, and then I put a piece of tape on both sides, and the film, the matte side is here. So this is the side it used to feed through the printer, and then it would print on this side. I did not have to use this trick for my brother sublimation printer, but I did for the Sawgrass, and I saw several creators with different Epson EcoTank printers have to use this hack as well. So you may need this information when printing on this film. Once this has been heating up for about 10 minutes, you'll take that printed film and place it onto the top and let it sit there 5+ minutes. This is to make sure this ink is good and dry. So this surface will be warm to the touch. It's not hot, but this will dry your film. Now I had no trouble printing this on my brother sublimation printer. I did mirror the print before I printed my design. This press will do sublimation phone cases, so you do need a sublimation blank, and it's meant to be used with these type of phone cases where there is an edge, and you can sublimate the entire surface as well as it will wrap around these edges because it has a vacuum. Now, you might see other sublimation phone cases for sale that look like this. They come in 2 pieces, and you sublimate this flat metal piece, and then you stick it onto something like this, and the edges do not sublimate. This is not intended to be used with this press. You want a sublimation phone case that looks something like this. And I will link to all the supplies I used in the description below this video. While that film is drying, inside of your phone case, you need to add one of the pieces that they provide. Now this one is for the iPhone 16, so I'm gonna add it inside. I'm also going to use one of my pieces of tape to cover this other hole. I believe these are just so that the sublimation ink doesn't get on your fixture. And there are a wide variety included, and they're all marked as to which phone case they go with. Once we've done that, all you'll need to do is to clean the surface of the phone case. Now this has been here over 5 minutes, so I can go ahead and remove it. Open this up, and you want to add the phone case to this template. So we're going to squeeze it both ways, hold it. Do this with heat-resistant gloves. Everything is going to be very hot. Pop the phone case on. Then you want to put the film, that matte side, down. You want to make sure everything is centered up and that the film is all the way around that gasket. And you do want to do this pretty quickly. Close this. Press the R button to start. And now you'll sort of hear that vacuum start up. That is a normal part of the process. We're gonna wait until the full time is up, and you wanna be ready with your heat-resistant gloves because you're gonna remove that film immediately once the time is up. As soon as this is done, I'm gonna lift it up and remove this film just as quickly as you can. And you can see just how bright and vibrant this is, and then you can peel back the phone case and remove it from this fixture. And the only thing left to do would be to push out this piece that's in the middle, and everything is very, very hot. And just remove that piece, set it aside for use later. Now let's take a closer look at this. Here's my completed phone case, and as you can see, this design wraps all the way around, all four sides. I literally love this phone case. I think it turned out great. The colors are bright and vibrant. Now when I first opened that press, I panicked a little bit because it didn't look very bright, but once you peel that film off, you can actually see what your phone case looks like, and this one looks really great. And I will have this file for free in the description below this video. Okay, I love the way the phone case turned out, but that's limiting. Do I need a heat press just for phone cases? This machine can do more than phone cases. Now, the inside is about 5 inches wide by 8.5 inches long. So the size of the item that you're going to be able to press in here is going to be limited. However, you can do other items besides phone cases. I showed you the fixture for the buttons, as well as sort of the marks on the fixture for other items. So I would use this for things where I wanted it to wrap around the edge and use that special film. So things like ceramic coasters, and I want that edge to be sublimated perfectly. I would go with this. Slate coasters, you know, you always have issues with those and it getting down in all those little grooves. This is going to do slate amazingly. The buttons that they send with it, yes, those are a great example of something that this can make. So that's what I would personally use this for. Just for plain flat objects, I would probably just use my regular heat press, but those items that are slightly 3D and small enough to fit into this heat press, that's where this heat press is going to shine. So if you want to make phone cases that look like a professional has made them, the HTVRont phone case heat press is definitely going to be for you. Or any of the other items that I mentioned here. Now there are several other videos on YouTube of this heat press being used for a wide variety of sublimation blanks, so be sure to check those out. And otherwise consider purchasing this one if you want to do phone cases professionally or any of the other things that I mentioned. I really think you're going to like the professional results. I have hesitated doing a video on sublimating phone cases because the other ones that I showed you in the beginning where there's just a flat blank and then the outside is white or black and just plain, those don't look professional to me. I do not like them. This version where the design wraps around and it looks like a phone case that I purchased somewhere, this is something that I can get behind. So if you are like me and have been waiting for a way to do phone cases easily that look amazing as well, this press is your answer. Now I will link to everything that I'm using in the description below this video so you can head there and purchase this press if you are convinced that it is for you. Otherwise, drop any comments, questions, or concerns you have in the comment section below. And if this video helped you, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, head on over to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. I have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.